Hey there, Griever Gang. Welcome back to day 3 of the Dan Vasc week. We're here with The Sound of Silence, a great song written by Simon and Garfunkel back in the day, and was then covered probably most famously, I would say, by Disturbed. Would that version be more popular than Simon and Garfunkel's one? I'd say definitely now it is. I wonder though back in the day. Let's do a little Google, shall we? Ooh. Oh, that's interesting. So as of 2017, Disturbed's single sold 1.5 million digital downloads, and that includes streams like on Spotify and all that sort of thing. But Simon and Garfunkel's have been cited as selling 22 million. Oh my god, I didn't know that. Although they're not entirely sure on the exact number of that. But I'm going to bet that I didn't call him Sam. Why did I call him... What?
What?
Huh?
What?
Must be the painkillers I'm on getting to my head. I assume that Dan is doing the Sound of Silence version. Doing the Simon & Garfunkel one as a solo performer is very difficult, and hardly anybody does it, and for good reason, because that harmony work is, let me just say, batshit insane. Like, absolutely insane. But the Sound of Silence done by Disturbed is a far more manageable song to cover, is very readily available in terms of like backing tracks and that sort of thing. Whether or not he used a backing track or not, who knows? But I have to admit, of the two versions, while I sincerely love the harmony work of the Simon and Garfunkel version, that emotionally driven version that Disturbed did, that speaks to me on a completely different level. And I think there are a lot of people in agreement when it comes to that. The thing that gets me about this song, however, is the lyrical content. The content of what is being said, the story that is being told. It is so much more relevant today than it was back when Simon and Garfunkel released this song. And I reckon even they'd be looking at it going, oh shit, we told the future. We Matt Groening'd this shit. Anyway, let's get into this. I'm very interested to hear how Dan performs this song. Before we begin, please do leave a like on the video. It really does help. If you have not subscribed, I would highly appreciate it if you did. And if you like what we do on the channel, there's more ways you can help at the end. So without any further ado, let's have a listen to Dan Vasc singing Sound of Silence. Yeah, there's that Disturbed piano opening.
Darkness, my old friend.
That's that low tone. I said it in the last video. In the very last video, I mentioned about his low tone being absolutely stunning and understanding that he feels less confident. Like he said that he feels less confident in the low tone. But how beautiful is that? Ah, it's so good. Let's go again.
Darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping.
Beautiful.
And the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone.
Sorry, just taking a note for later.
Neath the halo of a street light, I turn my collar to the cold and damp.
Man, the control.
When my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound of silence.
Okay. Here's the thing, right? Listening to this, I can hear what he would mean in which he's not, when he says he's not comfortable, as comfortable in this lower section of the voice, right? All he would need to do is open up a little bit more at the back of the throat. What he's doing, he's got his sound more forward. And here's the thing, right? If he ever is to see this, I'm just putting this out there as a thing that he might want to try. His sound is very forward, and he keeps his sound very forward in a lot of cases in the lower tone. He does tend to put the sound a little bit further back when he's doing his higher stuff. If he treated it the same and kept that sound back, he'd be hitting that note better. For instance, I'm just going to move this a bit closer to me here because it's going to be lower and it is going to be a little bit softer. So you've got the so how does he do it? As that was planted in my brain still remains against the sound of silence. But right, so that's the with the sound forward. If you put it back, but the vision that was planted in my brain still remains against the sound of silence. It makes it slightly easier to get those notes. It opens up the sound, and that's the thing with that kind of lower tone. It needs that resonance, it needs that space to resonate in order to get the sound out and make it sound more full. If he is to see this, and I'm not critiquing him, because what he did there was fine. It was totally fine. It was brilliant, in fact. It would just be how I would say, hey, try doing it this way, and I bet he would see a little bit of a difference. I bet he would see a difference. I would love to see how he does it, but it still sounds so damn good.
And in a naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking.
Yeah, you can hear. So you can hear too what I was saying about that, like keeping the sound back a bit more. He's doing it here. He's doing it here, definitely. Like, listen. Oh, it's very cavernous in the back there. Talking without speaking. Yeah, it's back here.
People hearing without listening. People writing songs. Their voices never share.
Beautiful. If he just didn't treat it different, he'd see a difference. Oh, it's stunning. Brilliant. Can I just point out something here? There is a little, I don't want to say a crack in the voice, because usually when you say, oh, someone's voice cracked, it's a negative thing, right? Usually. So I don't want to use that terminology, but there's no kind of better descriptor of it. And all it is him going for the emotion of the word over the technique of the word, which is so important. My big thing when it comes to technique is making sure that I and the students that come to me can continue to sing right up until, like, later stages in life. It is super important to me. However, by making everything technically perfect 100% of the time, it makes things boring. Sometimes. Don't get me wrong, like, certain songs, if you've got that technique on perfectly, it's great, right? But every now and then you can kind of go, oh, they're just going through the motions, and you feel that. Like, if it's something that, if it's a song that somebody's done 1,000 times, right? And they're a bit over it, you as the person listening are going to be a little bit over it, because that kind of comes through, right? But have a listen to what he does here. Silence like a cancer. Like, I tried to replicate the kind of break or crack that he did there, right? But it is, like, a lot of people would point it out as a, oh, he could have just held that note better, or he could have done it a different way. There's so much to be said for the amount of emotion that needs to be put into songs in order for them to work. And I think it's brilliant. I think it's brilliant that he unapologetically does it, because when you're in a studio, you can make things perfect. You can do all of that kind of behind the scenes, you know, patching up of things and make it sound super robotic and super perfect and almost too perfect, right? But he doesn't do that. And I love that. And I appreciate that so much. Because it's real. Because it makes it real. I love it. I love that. Love that harmony. Yes. Okay, here's the thing. I sang a harmony to the line before, right? It took every fiber of my being to not do that, and I did it anyway, right? I love that he went into that gruff tone there, and then he added that extra harmony at the end there. He is a pro at raising the stakes, at adding layers to keep the interest going. Because let's face it, if anybody were to cover this song, right, and to sing the entire song in that same octave as the first verse, boring. It'd be boring. It just would be, right? But not only does he go up the octave as Disturbed do it, right? The further he goes on, the more he layers effects on that voice. He layers on that gruff tone. Then once he's got that gruff tone where you kind of go, oh, he's got nowhere really else left to go. Nah, he adds another harmony line, and it's so brilliant. And that's the important thing about this, especially this emotional rendition of this song. It needs to be emotional. It needs to, like, raise the stakes constantly, permanently, like, upping the stakes as the song progresses until you get to that crescendo and then that last line, which I'm guessing he will come back down. But let's just continue on. I want to hear that harmony again. God, he's impressive. Oh, so good. I love that. Bring it down.
Of silence.
Oh. Isn't
my
that
friends,
stunning?
I'm here chilling in my retro room, and I have a question for you. Have you been following the dance law? Why not? Well, in case you're wondering what the hell is he talking about, let me refresh your memory a little bit. In the last video, I said this. So screw Murphy's Law. I'm creating a new law. It's dance law. And it goes like this. Shut up and do something. So now I have good news for you. Not only you can follow the dance law, but now you can wear it on your body.
I love it.
So
shut up and
now
do
to
something.
represent.com/store/danvasc and get yourself some new epic merch. As you know, my friends, I'm all about music that gives you power so you can have yourself an epic day. See you in the next video.
I love it. I love that. Yeah, guys, seriously, if you haven't subscribed to Dan at this point, what are you doing? Like, honestly. All right, let's go into some final thoughts. So, Sound of Silence, brilliant song. Simon and Garfunkel layered it with harmonies, and some of that vocal work and the harmony work and the arrangement is just insane, right? Disturbed comes along, blows it out of the water. Now, I mentioned a couple of videos ago that it is rare to see a song that is covered be so incredibly different from the original and still, and still be good. This is one of those rare occasions in which the cover is so different, but works so damn well. Frankly, I love the song. I love both versions of it. I love Dan's version of this here. And as I mentioned in the video already, the way that he progresses through, he raises the stakes, starts in that lower octave, ups the octave, then continues on, gets a slightly harsher tone as he continues on, adds that gruff, like, vocal fry sort of style, and then adds harmony work right up until that crescendo, and then brings it down. The thing that is so important about this song is it is meant to be beautiful, but it's also meant to be a combination of a warning, and I feel like its added meaning now is almost an I told you so. It's almost like singing, hey, remember I sang these words at this time. I told you this was going to happen. And here's where we are now. And obviously that wasn't written into the song originally, because, you know, it just so happened. It just so happened that that's how it turned out, right? And portraying that almost anger at the end of it that Dan did there brings another layer to it altogether. I love it. I think it's brilliant. I love that he genuinely enjoys and knows the source material and knows it well enough to pay homage to it without just completely ripping it off. He does his own thing. A person listening to this would go, oh, he's covering the Disturbed version. Yeah, sure, but they would immediately know it wasn't Disturbed. And that's important. That's super important. But yeah, look, what else can I say about that? Leave in the comments, guys, what you thought of this, of Dan singing this, because I think it's brilliant. I think it's wonderful. But anyway, like a favorite if you enjoyed, subscribe to all that sort of thing. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw here today, feel free to go over to Patreon and support us for as little as $3 Australian per month. By doing so, you'll join the list of wonderful people here. Also, if you're into gaming, I have recently rebooted my gaming channel, so feel free to go over there and have a look. Link to both the Patreon and the gaming channel in the description below.